I love you. And I love Esther. And I found you when I decided I wanted to be happy.
Yes.
And the journey has really been educational, evolving. I'm getting better at fun, trying to do more of that.
Fun just comes naturally when you're in alignment. Don't try to force fun. It just reminds you how much fun you're not having.
That's the thing. It's like a lot of times I feel more neutral. Just more like, I'm okay. I'm not
you don't have to be
high-flying.
bouncing off the wall. In other words, that alignment, sometimes it feels like sincere interest in something. Sometimes it feels like anticipation. Sometimes it feels like satisfaction. Sometimes it feels like ease. Sometimes it feels like exhilaration. Sometimes it feels like appreciation. Sometimes it feels like love. Sometimes it feels like passion. Let it move around in the different feelings that are in that high-flying place. But don't try to contrive it or force it or hype it. Just let it be.
And I'm trying to get in that comfort place.
The other day, Esther's granddaughter said to someone, you know, you've said awesome 5 times in the last 2 minutes. Is everything really awesome? And they were all laughing about it because, no, not really. Everything's not awesome. Some things are. But sometimes there is that desire to sort of ramp it up and hold it there. And there's a tension in that isn't natural either, is there?
Right.
Yeah.
So right now on my path, it seems like you said a long time ago, once you start the journey, everything gets shaken up. And my life just really got shooken up.
If you're meditating for 15 or 20 minutes every day, it's a good thing to do it every day because it's sort of a progressive thing, sort of like the locks in the Panama Canal. Yeah. So if you're meditating for 15 or 20 minutes every day, we wouldn't do it more than that because your mind wants to be active, and to ask it to be quiet is asking something that in and of itself is a little resistant in nature. So if you're meditating or sitting to meditate for 15 or 20 minutes and you manage to really quiet your mind for a minute or 2 or 3, you've accomplished plenty. Because in quieting your mind, you are allowing your vibrations to naturally rise. It's like holding a cork under the water. That's what negative emotion is. But when you let go of it, it will naturally bob up. So when you quiet your mind, it will naturally bob back up to its natural place. So as you are doing that every day for a while, what happens is you do heighten your sensitivity to your emotions. It makes you more aware of the gap between who you really are and who you're being in this moment. And that sensitivity is that rumble strip that we're talking about. So in the early stages, before there's much momentum going about negative emotion, you can do something about it. But if you wait until there's momentum going, then you need a good night's sleep usually to blow that momentum.
Right. And I do. I mean, I feel like I've definitely, like where I'm at right now in my life, I'm really good. I'm okay. I feel.
Just remember that this alignment that we're talking about is not like a college degree where once you get it, it's yours forevermore. It either is or it isn't in the moment. So when you say where I am in my life right now, that's too broad of a statement. What you want to do is just be aware where I am right now in this moment and in this moment and in this moment. You don't have to pronounce yourself aligned. Just pronounce yourself aware and do something about it. No one's asking you to not have step 1 moments. We know that you're living in this world where there's a lot of what is that you are translating through your physical senses. It's completely normal that you would see things that would be unsettling or upsetting to you. We're just encouraging you to be aware when that happens and do your best to guide yourself. And if you catch yourself in the early subtle stages, then you have fewer and fewer and fewer of those kinds of experiences. Every now and again, Esther will have an experience. She'll say, whoa, I thought I was more practiced at alignment than that. And then she will remind herself, let's get a grip here. Let's get things in perspective. This is not what's normal for me. This is an anomaly. And it's sort of a natural consequence of life experience. It doesn't mean that you're bad or wrong or failing or not doing well. It means that you're sensitive to your guidance, and it means that you're not afraid to get out in the real world. And it means that you're eager to sift through the contrast, and that contrast is all kinds of things. And sometimes you see something or experience something or track something that you wouldn't do on purpose. You sort of did it by default. But so what? So what? The worst thing that can happen is that you can launch a stronger desire. And the worst thing about that is that Source can answer it. And the worst thing about that is now Source is paying extra attention to you about that. And the worst thing about that is that you might not be in alignment and you might feel some negative emotion, which lets you know that you've got guidance working with you. In other words, it's all good. It's all good.
It is all good.
Yeah.
Do
you have a question for us?
No, I don't. I'm not in contrast. I'm in a really good place. I'm happy.
We're glad.
And the other thing is that
We're about to take the microphone away. You got
I've
something to add?
discovered the relationship with myself.
Yeah.
And it
That's what it's all about,
has
isn't
been
it?
far above and beyond all of the relationships that I experience.
That's the
before.
ultimate relationship, isn't it?
It is. And
Yeah.
where does it go from here? I feel good about the relationship I have with myself.
More good.
So it just gets better and better. And
More good. And you know, when you're really there, you don't ask where it's going because you like so much where it is.
I'm happy with where it is.
Really
and I'm
good.
really looking forward to just
It's
wondering
a perfect
if there's
state of
more.
being, to be satisfied with what is and eager for more.
Yeah.
Really good.
Thank
Really
you.
good. Love you.
Goosebumps. I got some goosebumps going now. I just talked with the cameraman over here. This is my third conference and the second time being in the chair. The last time I was here, I talked about a lot of things. I had a big list. And I even thought
What you want to talk about today?
Today, I want to talk about dreams. When I think of my friend strongly, he's in my dreams. His father was in my dreams. Now, when people like that are in the non-physical and they're in my dreams, I feel, well, blessed. And I know I'm tapped in, tuned in, turned on. I want to talk about some of the people that are alive and that are in my dreams. And what does that mean for me?
Well, the most important thing to understand about your dream. First, we're going to start with how you create your own reality by saying, again, that what you think about and therefore what you're feeling and what manifests always matches. And the same is true of your dream state. So when you awaken from a dream, the most important thing to ask yourself is, as you recall it, as you catch a little piece of it and more of it comes forward into your conscious awareness, how did it feel? What was the feeling of it? Was I worried? Was I afraid? Did I feel confident? Was I having fun? Did I feel exhilaration? Because how you feel in the dream is your indicator of what you've got going on in a general sense in terms of your vibrational relationship with who you really are, with that high-flying vibration or something else. Your dreams aren't happening like they feel to you. In other words, sometimes you'll say, oh, I dreamed all night long about such and such. Well, what is actually happening is that information is being downloaded in those seconds as you were coming back into consciousness. That's where all that translation is taking place. In the same way that as we are visiting with you here, Esther's not repeating words that we are whispering to her. She's receiving a block of thought, and then she's translating that block of thought at an unconscious level into the word equivalent. And you're doing a similar thing as you translate that block of thought into the visual cinema experience. So, therefore, it's logical that people that you've been thinking about, people you've been talking about, would show up in your dream, because during the translation process of this meaningful experience that you have created, it's logical that you would fill it in with things that are active in your mind. Does that make sense to you? So many times the people that are in your dream are inconsequential. That's why often you say, I was dreaming about someone and it felt like it might have been this person or this person, not really sure who it was. In other words, a lot of the characters in your dream don't have any really predominant awareness by you. It was just somebody that was there that was in on it. However, when you have a vivid dream about someone who has made their transition, it is because they are flowing to you. In other words, this is often something that they have been showering down on you, that during your wake state you have not been. It would be a little bit like our friend who talked about the ceiling grate falling. If she were not really tuned in her wake state, she may have been receiving some dreams about things falling on her. She might have been having dreams of near misses because her inner being is offering her something that she's picking up in dream state rather than in wake state. You get a sense of what we're talking about? So,
all right, his name's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm having this outrageous dream, and then even in the dream, I'm like, I can't believe this. We were running and training. I take out my phone. I'm like, I got to take pictures of this, and I'm snapping pictures. So was he, because I want him to be in one of my projects, was he, if I'm thinking that strongly about him, is he thinking about me, or is that a good vibration? Or, I mean, if you just said it, if I'm feeling joy in the dream, no matter who's in the dream, it's a good thing.
Well, we will say to you that once you start having vivid dreams about something, look at it this way. So are you following what we are talking about? About contrast causes you to build this vortex. And this vortex is gestating and cooperative components are gathered, and it is at the place where much of it is ripe and ready for the plucking. But it can't jump into your experience if your vibration doesn't support it. So once you've been practicing being in that receiving mode, then the translation from the vibrational vortex into the physical reality becomes an easy, seamless experience. And so we say often that once you start dreaming about things, it means that you are in a vibrational place where you can receive. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. One last thing too. The last time I was here in the chair, I told you about my friend, and I said that I felt like when I opened my eyes, it was him looking through me. So I had a dream of him, and I woke up. But then I closed my eyes, and it's like, even though I was 100% awake, but when I closed my eyes, it was like I could see the inside of the room where I was. And I looked to my right, and I saw a desk, and I saw somebody get up and walk. And I'm thinking, was that him?
Well, it's likely that it was. In other words, if it were happening now, it would be easier for us to read it. But as we listen to you, we just want you to understand, we don't want you to try to contrive things. But as you are naturally receiving, then noticing the correlation between how you're feeling and what was translated is the important thing. And so these are the things that you're saying that matter a lot. There is really no separation between what is physical and non-physical, except for the resistance that humans put in place. You have access to everything that Source knows about everything that you're focused upon when you're wide open and clear, you see. But it's not easy to be living in this physical world with all of the things that you're observing and with all of the habits of thought that you have about the things that you're observing. So in short, it's a rare one of you who, in a really consistent way, views this world through the eyes of Source. You often are not viewing the world through the eyes of Source. But when you catch glimpses, we really like it when you catch glimpses, because it lets you understand that you have access to so much more knowledge than you are really allowing yourself much of the time.
Right, and that's so much that I've learned. When I know I'm tapped in, I'm on a motorcycle, he's always with me, and I take that moment and I just go to the max with it because I'm in that moment.
Yeah.
And he's always in that moment with me. And then when I have a little burp or whatever, I'm like, okay, it's crash and burn time. You just let it go.
Well, it's nice to enjoy your dreamscape. And if you knew how much you wanted to be in these bodies, you would not be trying to get out of them all the time and wanting to have out-of-body experiences or dream experiences. But when you have consistent dream experiences that feel good to you, know that you're in a place where good things are beginning to be received by you. And if you have consistent dream experiences that don't feel good to you, know that you're in a place of some steady resistance, and it might be good to chill out a little bit and try to focus upon things that feel better. Enough about that?
Enough, yeah.